Hare Krishna, devotees, we accept my humble obeisances. Vanchakalpatarubhya chakipasindubhya cha pratitanam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Vanchakalpatarubhya Kripa Sindesha Bhaktanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namaha.
Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale.
Shtam Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Itanamne Namaste Saraswati.
Vani Charine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyadya Deshadarine. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. So today we take up something very interesting. From 150, our discussion on Siksha Guru has been fantastic. Real discussion, Ishtagoshi discussion. I learned so much. And it's, so I've been reading for so many months and years these verses, especially starting from 147 to 158 are the Siksha Guru verses. And there are some other things in the middle. The 4 Chatushloka, 5 shloka, 6 shlokas from Bhagavatam are there, but in the same vein. But they are fantastic. So today I was hoping we can take up 158. That's the last verse in the Guru Tattva whole thing. So let us do that. I am going to pull this up. Okay, so this is one Adi Leela 158. And there, Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, he is talking something very important. And let's discuss this threadbare. Would someone like to read the verse, please, and the purport?
Can I, Prabhu?
Sure.
Text number 58, reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila. Jive Shakshat Nahi Thate Guru Chaitya Rupe Siksha Guru Haya Krishna Mahanta Swarupe. Synonyms: Jive, by the living entity; Sakshat, direct experience; Nahi, there is not; Tate, therefore; Guru, the spiritual master; Chaitya Rupe, in the form of the super soul; Siksha Guru, the spiritual master who instructs; Haya, appears; Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead; Mahanta, the topmost devotee; Swarupe, in the form of. Translation: since one cannot visually experience the presence of the super soul, he appears before us as a liberated devotee. Such a spiritual master is none other than Krishna himself. Purport: it is not possible for a conditioned soul to directly meet Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead. But if one becomes a sincere devotee and seriously engages in devotional service, Lord Krishna sends an instructing spiritual master to show him favor and invoke his dormant propensity for serving the Supreme. The preceptor appears before the external senses of the fortunate conditioned soul, and at the same time the devotee is guided from within by the Chaitya Guru Krishna, who is seated as a spiritual master within the heart of the living entity.
Perfect. So in these short words, a lot of it packed. Rantra Prabhu, would you like to little bit whatever catches your eye immediately? Would you like to comment?
So, as our senses cannot see Krishna directly, it's not because our senses are not pure. So, the spiritual master is the one who acts on behalf of Krishna, who can guide us and who can instruct us. That is what is explained here. So, that's what I understood from here. On behalf of Krishna, spiritual master is the one who is acting like Krishna and guiding us, instructing us.
This is important, no? Visually experience.
Yeah, that's what visually experience.
External senses.
Yeah.
So we have internal senses also, the soul, And then we have these external senses of these karma indriya, jnana indriya. So he should appear there. This is one big argument which is used by the other party, that who is going to do this? You heard that argument, no?
Yes.
So see, one cannot visually experience, because one cannot. How can one visually experience Srila Prabhupada? He's not going to come and do this, no? So what do you say?
So if Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
Yeah.
So during Srila Prabhupada also, he was, when he initiated a lot of disciples, he was not personally visible also, right?
Hare
He
Krishna,
was,
Shuddha Sattva Prabhu, long time.
yeah, Prabhu, was going through a lot of health issues and
God, I should have called you.
no problem, bro.
Okay, please carry on. We'll talk later on. But thank you very much for coming, and very good. Yeah, please carry on.
So yeah, Prabhu, means basically when Prabhupada was physically present on the globe, there were many disciples who have not met Prabhupada physically. Just through his books and association of other devotees, they become devotee and got initiated through Prabhupada.
Mhm. So that is a good, how to say it, historical precedence. But how does it work now? How should it work?
Actually, I'm also thinking the same way, Prabhu, that okay, if it means we have just passed with 50 years, and how it is going to work in next 10,000 years, because Prabhupada predicted next 10,000 years. After 1,000 years also is challenge, because see, when Krishna was personally there on this globe 5,000 years ago, mm, for us, uh, it is a very difficult to, uh, have faith on the words of Krishna directly. And means actually not a faith, but how to use instructions like Bhagavad Gita, for example. If you see, if we just read the translation of Bhagavad Gita, it will be very hard for us to implement in our lives if we don't go through the purport and understanding of Prabhupada, how he has elaborated it in the modern context, how we can use, because people generally say, right, Krishna's now Krishna is not there, and but Prabhupada created entire system, entire mechanism that still, even though Krishna is not physically present here, but still we can get involved in Krishna's service.
Mhm.
So same thing may happen. Again, I don't know what is going to happen, but it will be very interesting to understand that how Prabhupada is going to continue for next 10,000 years instructing this way. It will be another chapter in the spiritual history. Like
Mhm.
Bhagavatam, we have historical facts. This will be another new fact for the in the spiritual historical stories.
Mhm. So my see, Krishna appeared 5,000 years back. Looks so far away. Now the whole culture, when Srila Prabhupada explains us the culture and what was happening, the world was one kingdom. Yudhishthira Maharaj used to travel around the world. Looks like sorts of like only stories, not fact. How is it like there are like millions of people were killed on a little battlefield of Kurukshetra?
Correct, bro. Yeah.
18 days, Brahmastra. How all these are cultural things, no? Now, in the next 5,000 years, how much it will change? The way you can see, I was born in 1970. There was no phone, these kind of things. And then in early 2000s or late 90s, phones started coming in, then website, internet came in, now artificial intelligence is coming, so fast changes. What will happen in 5,000 years? My God. And then whatever Srila Prabhupada has told, being visually experienced, no, like he came, looked around, gave so many ways to do things, construct this way, do that this way. Things could be so different that we may not be able to depend on Srila Prabhupada's direct, like whatever he has given now, we may have to depend more on other devotees because they are telling us do it, do it, do it like that, do it like this. How is he, as a liberated devotee in front of our eyes, Diksha Guru will remain practical?
In the purport, it is stressed as like Krishna sends and instructing spiritual master, never mentioned about initiating spiritual master. So we can understand here it is stressed about Siksha Guru rather than Diksha Guru. Is that the point, bro? You're trying to
We
speak.
have been discussing, no, the Srila Prabhupada has told many times the generally the Shiksha Guru, the most prominent Shiksha Guru becomes generally the Diksha Guru. So we have already understood from till now, last 6-8 months, that from so many statements of Srila Prabhupada, that he is the most prominent Shiksha Guru, and that's why he is the Diksha Guru also. It's not separated out, instructing Guru and Diksha Guru. But what you are saying makes sense. There'll be other Shiksha Gurus coming, definitely, with the visual perception. So that's why I'm saying how would the relationship and how much dependence on Srila Prabhupada, how practical is instruction be, just like Shuddha Sattva Prabhu is saying. Anyone would like to comment on that?
And definitely both are two different aspects, I feel, because like yesterday I was reading that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying Amara Agna Kai, like only on my order he becomes the Diksha Guru. So then definitely
That Amaragya is on Shiksha Guru, no? Amaragya Guru Hoya, Tare Desh. Is Diksha Guru?
Amara Agnaya Guru Hai Tara Sarva Desha. So he is asking everyone to become a spiritual master. Yeah. So everyone can become spiritual master. So let me share this bro yesterday.
Share. You can share the screen.
I'll put it in the chat.
So, anyone with any comments, what will happen? How now we are, so it is so practical. Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada gave so many instructions: do like this, chanting like this, go to the this office even, and books you keep like this. So many instructions are there. Detail. He is going and chanting, and these churches you take, and so many instructions we depend upon. But then after 1,000 years, my God, even 100 years, we don't know the way the world is changing. What to speak of 1,000 years, 5,000 years? I mean, we need Srila Prabhupada to interpret Krishna for us, Krishnas and the culture of Pandavas, everything at that time. So, how much more interpretation we would need uh, to understand? So, how can Srila Prabhupada's books be law books, and how can he be the Diksha Guru? Gauranga Sundar Prabhu, what do you say?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Oh, there is Prabhupada establishing the Bhagavad Vidhi and his books' knowledge as Diksha, I think has many practical ramifications also. Because the way I see Diksha being given now in ISKCON, outside ISKCON, Gaudiya Math, I just came to know that one devotee went to Gaudiya Math, one sannyasi, in 9 o'clock in the night. And he said, I want to discuss about my sannyas. The sannyasi gave him sannyas that time only. 9 o'clock in the night, bola bhi le lo. So, and he gave him Brahman Diksha and sannyas both.
It is
So,
written, no? Whenever one finds a bona fide match,
so So the degradation of the Panchratrika Vidhi and the formality, it becomes everywhere. Not only in ISKCON, everywhere you see they give very cheaply.
Yeah,
So that's why I feel Prabhupada has emphasized more on Siksha,
yeah.
and one who is connected to Shiksha in a pure form will be the one who will be going to be able to go back to Godhead. And this Diksha and all, it is required formality wise, but emphasis is always on Shiksha, because the because people are innocent, they don't know. They may think, oh, Swami ji mere pe mercy kar rahe hain, he's showing mercy on me, give me so easily, it's his kripa. So that is not going to save him. It's Diksha formality. The only thing will save any and the people in future generation is a pure form of Siksha. And the more we imbibe, the more we take shelter of that Shiksha and try to follow that in our life, will help us reach back to Godhead. Otherwise, to how to search who is a pure devotee, not a pure devotee. Everyone shows mercy like that. Giving diksha, and for a disciple, his guru is diksha guru is a pure devotee. He doesn't discriminate only. Thousand faults he will not see in Diksha Guru. So very, very difficult in Kali Yuga especially, because people are so narrow minded and sentimental and everything. So the whole process of formality Diksha is the reason why Prabhupada seeing the future, and even Bhakti Siddhant, they emphasize more on Siksha. And you take the pure form of Siksha, follow it, that is Diksha, and you can go back to Godhead. So that should be our emphasis, our focus also. That's what I feel.
So pure form of Shiksha is Diksha, like Bhagavad
Yeah.
we are
Yeah,
talking,
that's Bhagavad, that's to Bhagavad Gita.
or Bhagavad Vidya of Diksha.
Yeah.
So this formal Diksha, this is not this is a Pancharatriki Diksha which they are trying to screw out the meaning.
Yeah. And that Diksha can fall, can become degraded anytime, because everyone in Kali Yuga want disciples, that can degrade anywhere. So this is what, Bhagavad Vidhi, where pure form of Siksha is, accepted from a
Mhm.
pure devotee, and that Siksha itself is initiating you. And
So
then formality you can take, where you want to.
so the question which comes,
But
this is all good, well said. What the question which comes is this question, okay, so pure form of Shiksha is the Bhagavata Vidhi. That is true. That's 135 we talked about, Adi Leela 135.
And that's why very important to save Prabhupada's unedited teaching. Very, very important to save that, because the more how much we are able to save that, will also decide, how much we are giving our future generation pure form of Siksha to future generation, we are giving.
See, Srila Prabhupada, many times he talked about the parampara will continue. I am 13th, then I'm 12th, then 13th, 14th, like that will continue.
Yeah.
For
That
some people he talked about. Why is that?
that Siksha, Shiksha Gurus will continue. Will
So
be
look
who
at
will, help you understand Srila Prabhupada books.
this is the point I'm trying to get to. Like, look at this now. You are correct. Pure form of Shiksha is Bhagavata Vidhi, the Diksha form. This is Diksha. Now, to get that pure form of Shiksha, there are so many practical instructions and examples and so many things which Srila Prabhupada is saying in his books and in his lectures will become so out of context for
Yeah.
after 500
Sure.
years. You see?
Yeah.
So this is why the parampara is supposed to be there to otherwise see the two things which the acharyas do in the parampara, otherwise the same teachings. Main two things. One is they explain and give structure to the same teachings, the context to the teachings of Krishna in the current context. Second, they also modify, just like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Bhakti, everybody is modifying according to the principles are the same, but the details they modify. Not only they put the context, but also details they are modifying. Now, yes, the Shiksha Gurus future, they may be context they may be giving more and more. More and more Srila Prabhupada books may become out of context, not the practical, the teachings, but the context, the examples, and all the settings will change a lot. But What
So
about
one has to take the principle and apply in current situation. You will have to take the situation, the principles, and how those principles can be applied in today's, in 500 years from now, how they could be applied. Principles will remain. We are not this body, we are soul, and all these different things. But how to apply in that situation? For example, now, I will give you one example. 50 years back, Brihad Midanga was the books, right? In today's context, social media become Brihad Midanga.
Mhm.
So people don't understand this.
Mhm.
But one who knows, he knows that how social media travels, how, because purpose of Brihad Midanga is what?
Mhm.
The knowledge to travel everywhere.
Yeah.
But social media, now one click, it goes everywhere. So the principle is same, but the how to apply it in today's world, digital marketing, digital way, has changed, So that one has to adopt. So that is, how much, you are sincere and in tune with Srila Prabhupada and mercy and everything. He will guide you how to apply those principles in current context.
Mhm.
That guidance will come, and also, with devotees around you, you can guide, you can help them, talk to them and understand, and how to apply those principles. That will have to evolve. Otherwise, if we don't evolve, we stick to those same things, then, it's going to get, finish the movement. So gradually, every 50 years or 100 years, the implementation of the principles will have to evolve, and people will have to see at that time what is the current tech, to fast forward those teachings and those principles.
Mhm. Yes, Krishna. Shuddha Sattva Prabhu.
Actually, I have two things to ask here. Um, One thing is, when we are speaking about the Guru, like as Prabhu is saying, Gaurav Sundar Prabhu is saying that Bhagavat Vidhi, it will be, we have to emphasize more on Shiksha rather than Diksha, where the disciple is taking Diksha from. It may be because it is becoming more and more, you know, casual. Everybody wants follower and they are freely distributing Diksha instead of understanding the seriousness or the gravity of the seriousness that the disciple has. Um, so in that situation, what will be like, because this disciple he will be worshipping uh, the guru as the person from where he has received the diksha as his guru. Every day he will be offering services or arti to him and meditating on him. So I I wanted to understand what will happen if that is the situation. And also, uh, aren't we going into philosophy where in India it is very common also that whoever may be your guru, it doesn't matter if the mantra is correct, it will be, it is okay. You don't see how, whether guru is right or wrong. Just see what he has given and focus on that. So there is some kind of philosophy in India where people go in that direction. So aren't we going in that direction? That is first part of question. And second part was, um, as Prabhu is saying that we need to update ourselves. So I do have uh, seen or understood some devotees who wanted to follow Prabhupada word to word. They don't want to change anything, considering uh, that this is a transgression of Srila Prabhupada's words. We have to, if Prabhupada says distribute books, we should still distribute books. Like that means they don't want to change anything and follow the same pattern what Prabhupada has taught us and continue with the same tradition and process instead of updating based on the new traditions and new updates, like what Prabhupada gave. Prabhu gave very good example that Priyat Mridanga, that in the current context he's saying the social media is the new Brihad Mridanga because people, it it can spread in a moment anything if you want to spread, uh, right? So how do we actually understand this, that do we need to have, means I really respect those people also because they are having faith on every word of Prabhupada, every instruction of on Prabhupada. But at the same time, I do understand that, in the current context, few things needs to be updated to spread Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, bro. So, very nice, distributing books. Yes, we go and distribute. But that social media can be used for it. Like we are doing
Yes.
from Madhav, like, Madhav store,
Uh-huh.
350, 400 books, Prabhupada books, every day we are distributing. Now, if I go alone on the street, maybe, 50, 25, 30 books I'll be able to distribute. But here, everywhere, all over the world, it's going. And 350, 400, 500 books sometime, every day. So, you can use these tools to apply those principles, and also, philosophy and everything. Very easily you can use these tools. You know, the after, main thing is what, the books should
Books
go
should
to
be.
everyone all over the world. That is the main focus.
Yep.
So, and that can be done by applying so many different tools now, which were not available during
Yes.
Prabhupada time, are available now. So we can use that and do it. Like we have so many websites, where Prabhupada teachings are available. That time they were not available.
Mm-hmm.
Now, website, hey, all books are there, all conversation is there. People had to that time, everyone was not aware of what Prabhupada is speaking in London or, America, till the cassettes reached, and those who really reached after so many. Now, just one click and you have all Prabhupada Veda base.
Yeah.
So the tools have changed, but the principle is same thing, that midanga principle, and the knowledge, spreading of the knowledge, that principle is same, but the tools are different, no?
Let's hear from others, no? What are their other people's comments? Anyone like to has been coming in their minds hearing all this discussion? Anyone? Christoph Prabhu? Bhakta John Prabhu? Leo Prabhu? Somagiri Prabhu? Bashish Prabhu? Okay.
Hare Krishna, Abu. Hare Krishna, all devotees. Yeah, I'm sorry I came a bit late. I just joined in between, so I just heard about 500 from now or 1,000 years from now, how the movement will be like. The teachings may get distorted and all. So I think that
how after 1000 years, let's say, the context will change a lot. Like Krishna's context, Krishna time context have changed so much. That's why we need a Diksha Guru to apply the
Diksha.
principles now and interpret the context for us.
Diksha Guru will always be Prabhupada Prabhu for ISKCON. As long as ISKCON is here, that Prabhupada's books are here, ISKCON, and Prabhupada said that his books will be the law books for mankind for the next 10,000 years. So I don't know if he said about ISKCON also, but as long as his books are there, this one I don't know about ISKCON, but anyway, if his books are there, it will be the law book for mankind. So BBT must be there, and if BBT will be there, so I think ISKCON also must be there, no?
Well, for a couple of things.
Mm.
In his recorded writings, nowhere it says his that this 10,000 years my books will be law books and all these things. The only place I found 10,000 years is in a conversation with poet Allen Ginsberg. Srila Prabhupada said Ginsberg.
I haven't paid attention to that.
He says, all of these disciples, no one will be there after 10,000 years, something like this. So it kind of, you can interpret that his disciple will be there for another 10,000 years. After that, no disciples will be there. So that's the only context I found. Otherwise, he always says Lord Chaitanya's movement, 10,000 years. Now, when we connect in his books, in Adi Leela 7th chapter, 171st verse purport, he says, Lord Chaitanya left preaching to the rest of the world, to International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So we can connect it like that. That his Lord Chaitanya's mission will be being propagated around the world outside of India by ISKCON. So like as far as BBT is so in books, while his books are there, ISKCON is mentioned hundreds of times. I made the society. We can go through it later. So many times I compiled so many things about Srila Prabhupada talking about ISKCON. But as far as BBT is concerned, not even one place he writes in his books, BBT. And one can see that the copyrights for the BBT will finish off in another 40 to 45 years. That's all the time there is. After that, it's kind of everybody was going to print.
Anyone can print.
Yeah, because there'll be no more copyrights. So
But
that's my most deepest push and desire is this, that before that happens, the culture of change has to change from culture to culture of no change. Like it is there in the Vedic literature, Vedic circles, there is a culture of no change. Of you can't change Bhagavad Gita words, you can't change any texts written by acharyas, like great personalities, earlier personalities. You can't change. There's a culture of no change. It's there in the Muslims also. There is a culture of no change. But the culture of change is there among the Christians. You can change, interpret as you go along. And there is a culture of change in the current ISKCON leadership also. So that culture to change. Otherwise, we are in for, of course, Krishna is, Chaitanya is in control. But my God, it's such a big anxiety for me. And that's the biggest push to do these lawsuits and everything. So to get control of the BBT before in the next 10, 15, 20 years, so that future devotees will get, leaders will get enough time to set this culture of no change in ISKCON, and devotees all in the community, that proper books cannot be changed. So that's how it is. But there is no BBT mentioned in any of his books.
Okay, but the about the law books you're telling me, but it is in the
There in the written
in a
conversation,
letter. It's in a
nothing.
letter or conversation.
It was a oral conversation, not recorded. Devotees say we heard it.
And there's I think in that
But
in
he
the
does say
Lambrita.
his Bhagavatam is going to revolutionize the misdirected
Yes.
civilization. In the purport is very clear. Bhagavad Gita 4.2 purport, Bhagavad Gita 4th chapter, 2nd verse, Evam Parapara Praptam. That purport is saying this Bhagavad Gita is setting up the parampara, and it is needed, it is required by the human society. So there are many key purports. He is equating his books which are going to be useful for the human society. So in wholesome, if we see from 11th chapter 5th verse, 32 verse, 11th canto 5th chapter 32nd verse, Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam, and then 37 to the 30 to the 37 to 39 to the 48th verse of the same chapter, where Lord Chaitanya is Kali Yuga, souls are born in South India and Sankirtan movement will spread, and all of those all together, when you look at all the purports everywhere, which some of the verses I mentioned, everything points to Srila Prabhupada books as being the guide for the human society of this, especially outside of India. But that specific is not there, recorded.
I don't know if I read this in the document Guru Business or in Yashodanan Prabhu's articles about Prabhupada mentioning, I don't know if it's from the books or letters or some conversation, like it was said about the about the about the movement or something like that. Prabhupada says like something, he was kind of a challenge to the world. Bring on the fire brigade of all the world, like something like that. No one can extinguish this fire of this Hare Krishna movement, kind of. Maybe you,
Yeah.
it's not the exact word, but it's something like that. I hope, I don't know if you have come across this thing.
Yeah. That a few places.
It, it is in the books, or it's some conversation where it's that
Stations.
bring on all the fire brigade, but you cannot extinguish this this movement, this fire of Hare Krishna explosion, kind of. Mm-hmm. Let's search for that. Let's look for that. Mm-hmm.
Yes, Gauranga Sundar Prabhu.
Yeah, so like I was saying, that Prabhupada established this Siksha, pure form of Siksha, the Bhagavad Vidhi, to guide people of future generation. And who will carry that Siksha? There will be Siksha Gurus, but they can also get deviated. So very important, Prabhupada, so many times, he's saying to keep the purity of the society. Society should not fizzle out and don't spoil everything. Because I, I strongly feel ISKCON or society will be the Siksha Guru, as a instrument, or as a tool for the next 10,000 years. And there will be many temple presidents and many who are in ISKCON will be guiding. But if they deviate, ISKCON can always throw them out or can correct them or rectify them. But the main tool to see that they don't deviate and the pure teaching is kept as it is in the organization, in the hand of the. That's why Prabhupada expanded himself into many forms, and one of the form I feel is ISKCON. He expanded himself. He is very much present, and through ISKCON, he'll be guiding people for the next 10,000 years. And ISKCON, whoever is after 100 years, 400 years, 500 years, those devotees will get together and implement those tools that time to further Prabhupada's teachings. But the covering, the main thing will be the shield, or the main vessel will be ISKCON to carry that pure teaching of Srila Prabhupada forward. And that's why very important to have that in a pure form. Otherwise, like Gaudiya Mutt fizzled out, ISKCON will also fizzle out like that. We don't have that tool.
We are talking about real ISKCON, not the Maya ISKCON.
I mean, whatever is what I'm not talking about a real. I'm saying ISKCON should be in his pure form.
Instrument of Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah, that should be there in the pure form. Whether ISKCON, this ISKCON, that ISKCON, or someone else starts ISKCON, I don't know. But
This he says here on 4th August 1975 to Madhudvish Prabhu, he is writing, this is the function of GBC to see that one may not be taken away by Maya. The GBC should be the instructing gurus. I am the initiator guru. And you should be the instructor guru by teaching what I'm teaching and doing what I'm doing. This is not a title, but you must actually come to this platform. And this I want. Now, this is what I feel. No? This is what has happened, is happening from 1977 to now. Those devotees couldn't come to this platform. So, Srila Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya, they're taking this route and training devotees around the world. Not part of this is maybe part of this ISKCON, maybe out of ISKCON, to bring those leaders. When we are talking of 10,000 years, no? Here, this is another place he says, where is this? Yeah. That some time may appear to our calculation a big gap, but in relation with the eternal time, it is not even an instant. So this big gap or small gap of time is relative, just like our 24 hours and Brahma's 24 hours, there is much difference. Our 24 hours is not even a fraction of a second. So this 50 year, even 100 years it takes to train the leaders, the real GBCs, the real ISKCON. There is nothing part of 9,500 more years. What is there 100 more years? 200 more years. That's how I am, like last 10, 15 years, I have oriented myself into thinking of right now, all we are doing is setting the base, the foundation for the future generations to take up incrementally the movement more and more, farther away, farther apart. No need to hurry like this, madly going here, there, thinking I am the controller. That's what I was trying to do. And just, this is the time. The next life, the other devotees or Krishna will provide more and more send. And then those other generations will come. And these small gaps, 100 years, 200 years after Srila Prabhupada leaving, doesn't make any much difference in the whole thing, whole scheme of things. But real ISKCON has to be there, not this half-heart, half thing. That is not pure. Okay. The real purity is the most important. Otherwise, if one is not giving Krishna and one is still keeping some thing for this world while giving Krishna, what is there? What is this? No? That everybody in this world is there in different degrees. We want something pure. Take one completely attached, detached completely from any connection to this world while being in this world. That kind of devotee Srila Prabhupada wants to be working like just like common people, serving, serving, preaching, doing this, doing that, just like anybody, but without that little those connections to this material dead world. Then that once that is there is enough number of devotees like that without that connection to these world of different, then he can just as instruments, how much he will preach around the world through them, completely change the world. Okay, so this discussion is so important because Siksha Gurus we will see are going to be essential for future, because we just read from 158 that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying, since one cannot visually experience the presence of the Super Soul, he appears before us as liberated devotee. Such a spiritual master in another. Okay, this he is talking about Srila Prabhupada, but we just discussed this, that as we go along, the leaders of Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON would also need to be these liberated devotees, no connection to this world, to be real instructor gurus like these. I am in the initiator guru, and you should be instructor guru by teaching what I'm teaching and doing what I'm doing. That is not a title. But actually come to this platform. This platform. Okay. I have some more. Anyone else has any other things to discuss, please? We haven't heard from any other devotees. I'm sure everyone has different things to contribute.
I'm sorry, Prabhu. I am in listen-only mode today. I'm
Okay.
still recovering on pain meds, so I'm just keeping pace.
Okay, Prabhu. Anyone else?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Pradyumna Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhu. So just we have heard that Srila Prabhupada, when audio is also there, na? That I will never die. I will always live in my books, and you will utilize.
Yeah.
So books will be always there. Books are the basis. So that is also one that the books will be always there for 10,000 years. As many devotees that say that now Srila Prabhupada, we can read him and hear him. By his books, he will guide us.
Definitely. 147 we were hearing, no? Where he talks about Bhagavad Gita. Krishna comes as Bhagavad Gita, as the external spiritual master. So that's how we understood that his external manifestation is Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. All three together form his external. Even Bhagavad Gita is an external spiritual instructing Guru. He writes that.
And Prabhu, just like we have read in that 135 that uncontaminated devotional service is the objective of pure Vaishnava in that association of devotee. Then after that sense of love that will create an. So we have read that by this thing we can always that sadhu shastri guru, we can always get the instruction of Srila Prabhupada and carry the mood for how many long 10,000 years for.
Yeah, yeah.
If we follow that thing, then it will be like it will be carried for 10,000 years easily.
Yeah.
It is mentioned like right what Prabhupada says that one has eternally inherent in him that mellow, and if one develops love of Krishna by Krishna conscious service activities, one can know the supreme absolute.
1 second, let me bring it up. Can you read here? Where are you?
Yeah. Yeah, so it is here. So Srila Jeev Goswami in his thesis Bhakti Sandarbha has that uncontaminated devotion service is the object of pure Vaishnavas, and that one has to execute such service in the association of other devotees. By associating with devotees of Lord Krishna, one develops a sense of Krishna consciousness, and this thus becomes inclined toward the loving service of the Lord. This is the process of approaching the Supreme Lord by gradual appreciating in devotion service. If one desires unalloyed devotional service, one must associate with devotees of Shri Krishna, for by such association only can a conditioned soul achieve a taste of transcendental love and thus revive his eternal relationship with Godhead in a specific manifestation, and in terms of the specific transcendental mellow rasa that one has eternally inherent in him. If one develops love for Krishna by Krishna conscious activities, one can know the supreme absolute truth, but he who tries to understand God simply by logical arguments will not succeed, nor will he get a taste for unalloyed devotion. The secret is that one must submissively listen to those who know perfectly the signs of God, and one must begin the mode of service regulated by the preceptor. A devotee already attracted by the name, form, activity, qualities, etc. of the Supreme Lord may be directed to his specific manner of devotional service. He need not waste time in approaching the Lord through logic. The expert spiritual master knows well how to engage his disciples' energy in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, and thus he engages a devotee in a specific devotional service according to his special tendency. A devotee must have only one initiating spiritual master, because in the scriptures it's missing. Except a devotee must have only one initiating spiritual master, because in the scriptures acceptance of more than one is always forbidden. There is no limit, however, to the number of instructing spiritual master one may accept. Generally, a spiritual master who constantly instructed disciple in spiritual science becomes his initiating spiritual master later on. One should always remember that a person who is reluctant to accept a spiritual master and be initiated is sure to be baffled in his endeavor to go back to Godhead. One who is not properly initiated may present himself a great devotee, but in fact he is sure to encounter many stumbling blocks on his path of progress toward spiritual realization, with the result that he must continue his term of material existence without relief. Such a helpless person is compared to a ship without a rudder, for such a ship can never reach its destination. It is imperative, therefore, that one accept a spiritual master if he at all desires to gain the favor of the Lord. The service of the spiritual master is essential. If there is no chance to serve the spiritual master directly, a devotee should serve him by remembering his instructions. There is no difference between the spiritual master's instruction and the spiritual master himself. In his absence, therefore, his words of direction would be the pride of disciple. If one thinks that he is above consulting anyone else, including a spiritual master, he is at once an offender at the lotus feet of the Lord. Such an offender can never go back to Godhead. It is imperative that a serious person accept a bona fide spiritual master. In terms of Shastric injunctions, Shri Jeev Goswami advises that one not accept a spiritual master in terms of hereditary or customary social essential
Ecclesiastical
conventions.
conventions, yeah.
One should simply try to find a genuinely qualified spiritual master for actual advancement in spiritual understanding.
What were you trying to explain from this?
So we are discussing now how that it will carry on that movement, Srila Prabhupada's pure movement till 10,000 years. So if that uncontaminated devotional service and then this everything is mentioned. So the Sadhu Shastra Guru that Srila Prabhupada decided. This will carry the movement as it is.
Yeah. I mean, one as what my understanding is that until one has at least reached asakti level, from this also it is, but without, I mean, without asakti, one is not, asakti level one comes to fully come to know and become situated in one's original constitutional position, meaning in the spiritual world. Now it has to be brought to ecstatic platform and it has to be made permanent. But one knows who is he, what is my spiritual body, what is my constitutional position. And at asakti level, all the other attachments in the material world, no, they are minuscule, completely minuscule. And it's very rare that one can fall down from that level because one is already starting to taste and one becomes so attached to the spiritual services and our own spiritual services of to Krishna and to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So minimum they need to come to this platform. The GBC should be at least that, but ideally they should be at pure devotee level, not even the the bhava platform, at pure devotee. And but minimum asakti is what my understanding is, and temple president should be minimum this nishtha level fixed. Any leader needs to be at minimum uh, nishtha level, where Srila Prabhupada says minimum 75% of the anarthas are gone. But they should be at least have asakti to Srila Prabhupada. Without that, they can't be leaders of in Srila Prabhupada's movement, because without that Srila Prabhupada, how is he guiding from the heart? I mean, that has been my concept, and if devotees can tell me if I'm wrong in this, and what else do they think should be the platform of leaders, of different kinds of leaders.
So we have discussed that only. You told me that we have discussed that very quickly. If a devotee very sincerely serves a pure devotee,
Yeah,
then he attains that stage. I don't know, that very difficult.
because of this first para. In the Guru, where Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is explaining Diksha Guru and Siksha Guru, first para talking about that, how one can come to one's rasa, one can understand. That's why I feel Srila Prabhupada, when one follows his process properly, with having full faith in him and all these things, Yasya Deve Parabhaktir, then this happens very fast. Yes, Vashish Prabhu?
Yes, hello, Hare Krishna. So, yeah. Thanks to uh Prashant Prabhu for sharing this for reading this purport. Prabhu, when reading this purport, when going through this purport, these three components, like you have been discussing, you all have been discussing, Gaurav Prabhu also, like the Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Many times we have shared such messages in the group. Like Guru, by Guru we mean the Diksha Guru, what is Prabhupada, right? And Shastra are Prabhupada's books, which we are not supposed to change. As Prabhupada said, these are the law books for mankind for the next 10,000 years, either in hard copy form or like Gaurav Prabhu is saying, soft copy form, right? Online, like online. But the teachings, what is the what is the teachings of Prabhupada, right? And when it comes to sadhus, these are the disciples of Prabhupada, the sincere, all according to their levels. Siksha Gurus, when they are trying to preach, there are different levels or grades of Siksha Gurus. All these three, we cannot these three components are very, very essential. And when reading the books, like just like we say, okay, we have to read the books. But when reading the books or when going through the teachings, Prabhupada has always emphasized on the importance, just like he has emphasized, mostly has emphasized on the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, right? But if one wants to be engaged in devotional service, right? You will see in the preface of Bhagavad Gita, the last paragraph. If one wants to seriously or sincerely study Bhagavad Gita, one has to take help from this Krishna conscious movement, something like what he says. What is his movement? His con, right? In the preface of Bhagavad Gita, it is a very nice preface. The last paragraph. The last part, I think. Instead of satisfying his own, I think. Yeah, that's me. Where he says, instead of satisfying his own personal material senses, he has to satisfy the senses of the Lord. That is the highest perfection of life. The Lord wants this and he demands it. Prabhupada is quite heavy on that. One has to understand this central point of Bhagavad Gita. Our Krishna consciousness movement is teaching the whole world this central point. And because we're not polluting the theme of Bhagavad Gita as it is, anyone seriously, see, now these are all serious students, right, serious disciples, interested in deriving benefit by studying. Those who wants to study or wants to implement the teachings of Bhagavad Gita in their life, by studying the Bhagavad Gita, must take help from the Krishna consciousness movement for practical understanding of the Bhagavad Gita under the direct guidance of the Lord. And if we will go through Prabhupada's books, we will see that the direct guidance of the Lord means the spiritual master and the devotees also. We hope, therefore, that people will derive the greatest benefit by studying as Prabhupada desired, right? We hope, therefore, that people will derive the greatest benefit by studying Bhagavad Gita as we have presented here. And if even one man becomes a pure devotee to the Lord, we shall consider our attempt of success. That is Prabhupada's humility, transcendental humility when he says that. Of course, there will be many people, just like there are many references where Prabhupada has, I think he said that to Gargamuni or Brahmananda Prabhu, like, if you go on preaching seriously or strongly as you're doing within the next 25 years or 50 years, I think 25 years, he said, there will be no other religion in this world. There will be only, I think it was in 1975, he said, but to Brahmananda Prabhu. Like, if for the next 25 years you push on this movement as you're doing now, within 25 years, there will be no other religion in this world, only Hare Krishna. But we know what happened just after 2 years for Prabhupada, who went into Mahasamadhi, right? And then the movement just collapsed. So what's the situation? But again, if the movement, again, there's some revolution, some rectification happens in the movement, just like we know that all other philosophies of the world, they cannot match with the Bhaktivedanta philosophy that Prabhupada has given us, right? But unfortunately, we are not able to present that to the world. Some devotees are trying, Many devotees are trying actually, but unfortunately, there's no cooperation, like we say. There's no some cooperation. Like mainstream ISKCON, they have deviated, they have distorted, and even amongst the really big older Prabhupada Anugas group also, so many factions are there. If all of us would have been together, we could have been a great force today. But unfortunately, it's not so. It's not the thing actually right now. And even in one letter, I think we shared that in the WhatsApp group. Just like Prabhupada said, he sent one letter to his leader, to one GBC member. I forgot his name. He said, "At any moment shall we be without ISKCON thought." Right? Prabhupada's letter is also very important. One can read books. Books are, of course, the foundation. But if one wants to know the transcendental hardship that Prabhupada went through when building this organization, right? For building up this organization, one has to go through his letters and the conversations, not lectures. Lectures also, yes, but it will be more in detail in his letters and his conversations. So, and where Prabhupada, in that letter, he says to one GBC man, he says, "At any moment shall we be without ISKCON thought." And that is for all, he said something like all of you. So we need to think upon that and work upon that.
Your love will be shown by how you cooperate.
This is one. This is another. There are many, like letter to Bhabru, something like that. This we have made something now. Now the test will be how you cooperate and do. This is another one. What you're saying, your love for me. This is actually, I think Tamal Krishna Goswami in his record he said that. But there is another letter where Prabhupada says, "At any moment shall we be without ISKCON thought." But what is ISKCON? The seven purposes of ISKCON and all this.
Yeah. We read that too.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else like to contribute, Prabhu, please? Christoph, Prabhu? You there? Nancy? Mother Nancy? Anyone else would like to contribute? Okay, let's
Hare
hear.
Krishna. This
Yeah.
is Melio.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Okay, so here let me bring up a couple of points Srila Prabhupada saying. In this verse 158, Sakshad, direct experience. And we know the direct experience 9.2 also, Krishna himself says direct experience. You know that verse, no? This verse is, let's go to 9.2. Rajaguhyam Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyakshvagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartam Avyam. Pratyakshva, directly experience. This knowledge is the king of education. The most secret of all secret is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, is the perfection of religion. So this is the same word, pratyaksha, sakshat, direct experience, which Srila Prabhupada writes here. And it is said that the execution of devotional service is so perfect that one can perceive the results directly. It's 9.2 purport. This direct result is actually perceived. And we have practical experience that any person who is chanting the holy names of Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. In course of time feels some transcendental pleasure and very quickly becomes purified of all material contamination. This is actually seen. So Siksha Guru needs to be visually experienced, and the training should be visually experienced. Chastisement would be visually experienced. The perceptor appears before the external senses. One who is sincere and pure gets an opportunity to consult with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his Paramatma feature sitting within everyone's heart. The Paramatma is always the Chaitya Guru, the spiritual master within, and he comes before us externally as the instructor and initiator spiritual master. The Lord can reside within the heart, and he can also come out before a person and give him instructions. Thus, the spiritual master is not different from the supersoul sitting within the heart. An uncontaminated soul or living entity can get a chance to meet the Paramatma face to face. Just as one gets a chance to consult with the Paramatma within his heart, one also gets a chance to see him actually situated before him. Then one can take instructions from the supersoul directly. This is the duty of the pure devotee, to see the bona fide spiritual master and consult with the supersoul within the heart. So here, this uncontaminated soul can get a chance to meet Paramatma face to face. But when one cannot do that, then one is having the external spiritual master too. And this uncontaminated, no, another place, I don't know if I have it today, but I saw that asakti level Srila Prabhupada is talking about. And if someone has those codes, please post them, or else I will post them afterwards in the chat group. And in Nectar of Devotion, chapter 14, he's saying this does not mean, however, that we should give up the principles of discharging devotional service or neglect abiding by the rules and regulations prescribed therein. This is the Niyamagraha. In the neophyte stage of devotion, one must follow all the principles regulated by the authority of the spiritual master. The acceptance and rejection of things should always be in pursuance of the devotional principles. Not that one can independently manufacture some idea of what should be accepted or rejected. The spiritual master is the visible manifestation of Krishna is necessary, therefore, to direct the devotee on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, here, this is what Prabhu was discussing about what to, Shuddha Sattva Prabhu was saying about there are some devotees who stick very closely to what Srila Prabhupada is saying. And they say exactly like this. And some devotees may say, no, but now the times and circumstances have changed, so it should be another way. So now how to see that? See, because in neophyte stage, one has to follow the principles given by the authority of the spiritual master. So how to accept or reject those things? That's a question. Whether one should, it could become rudivad, like sticking to just for the sake of the rules, not or just for the sake of following, not for the purpose behind them, and or it could become. See, I will here in 1 second. Where is this gone? Let's go to Nectar of Instruction. I think second verse, right? Atyahara prayascha niyam prajalpo niyamagraha jana sangascha lolyam cha shadbir bhakti vinashati. Niyam is rules and regulations. Agraha means too much attachment to, or agraha is too much neglect of. And Srila Prabhupada in this purport, he is Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anuvritti commentary that too much endeavor to acquire knowledge. No. Okay, accepting some of the scriptural rules and regulations for immediate benefit as utilitarians advocate is called niyam agraha. And neglecting the rules and regulations of the Shastras, which are meant for spiritual development, is called niyam agraha. The word agraha means eagerness to accept, and agraha means failure to accept. By the addition of either of these two words to the word niyama, rules and regulations, the word niyama agraha is formed. Thus, niyam agraha has a twofold meaning that is understood according to the particular combination of words. Those interested in Krishna consciousness should not be eager to accept rules and regulations for economic development. Yet, they should very faithfully accept scriptural rules and regulations for the advancement of Krishna consciousness. They should strictly follow the regulatory principles by avoiding illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. So, this is one of the issues. And then, where else was we were talking? Yeah, nectar of devotion. Let me bring that up. We should have this discussion. We have often talked about this 6th chapter, how to discharge devotion service. Srila Rupa Goswami states that his elder brother Sanatan Goswami has compiled Hari Bhakti Vilas for the guidance of the Vaishnavas, and therein has mentioned many rules and regulations to be followed by the Vaishnavas. Some of them are very important and prominent, and he will now mention these very important items for our benefit. The purport of this statement is that Srila Rupa Goswami proposes to mention only basic principles, not details. For example, a basic principle is that one has to accept a spiritual master. Exactly how one follows the instructions of his spiritual master is considered a detail. For example, if one is following the instruction of his spiritual master and that instruction is different from the instructions of another spiritual master, this is called detailed information. But the basic principle of acceptance of a spiritual master is good everywhere, although the details may be different. Srila Rupa Goswami does not wish to enter into details here, but wants to place before us only the principles. Then he mentions the 64 basic principles. Now, this is the question which, after, let's say, even now, after 50 years of Srila Prabhupada's disappearance, in the physical realm, so to say, and what about 100 years, 500,000, 5,000 years? Some of the principles may become obsolete. Some of the instruction, many of the instructions of service especially could become obsolete, and or application of the principles may become outdated. So who is going to change? Who is going to change those applications? He has given 16 round and 4 regular principles. Now, let's say those everyone agrees those will not be changed. But what about all these other 64 are there? How do we know to follow them as Shuddha Sattva Prabhu is saying, strictly following or not following, when to do, when not to do? When does it become niyam agraha and when is it niyam agraha? Anybody? Any discussion on this? Yes, Prabhu. Ashish Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhu, the last part what you have said that details may vary. Like one opinion or advice of one spiritual master may differ from another one. Something like that, no? It's said that some contradictory with opinion may be get by different spiritual masters. The purport of
Yeah.
Let me see. Read again. Hari Bhakti Das for the guidance of Vaishnavas, and herein they mention many rules and regulations to be followed by the Vaishnavas, right? Yes. Some of them are very important and prominent, and he will now mention these very important items for our benefit. The purport of this statement is that Srila Rupa Goswami proposes to mention only basic principles, right? Basic principles, not details. For example, a basic principle that one has to accept a special master, that is Prabhupada, right? Exactly how one follows the instructions of his spiritual master is considered detailed. For example, if one is following the instructions of his spiritual master and that instruction is different from the instruction of another spiritual master, this is called detailed information. But the basic principle of acceptance of a spiritual master is good everywhere, although the details may be different, right? So, Srila Rupa Goswami doesn't wish to enter into the details here, but wants to place before us only the principles. See, my limited understanding is here. The basic principles here has been given by the Siksha Guru Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Now, if we are in an organization, right? If we are in an organization, because Prabhupada, just like during Prabhupada's time, 377, all over the world there was ISKCON, right? ISKCON was in its pristine original form, pure form. Prabhupada was here, and there was no distortion, kind of. Everyone was just under Prabhupada. There was under one banner. Prabhupada as a Diksha Guru. Now things have changed. Now it has distorted. But suppose with time, things get changed, things get rectified. So one temple may be there in here in Mauritius, one in US, one in India, one in Europe, one in Africa, one in Australia, one in China. But the acceptance that, because Prabhupada in his letters also has emphasized a lot on hierarchy in the temple structure. There should be but hierarchy must be there, like following your superior, like senior. You understand what I'm trying to say, Babu? Maybe you can elaborate on that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, suppose in a place like different time, like we said, different place, actually different countries, their food, their way of things, like a temple, you know, the way they do their activities may not be similar, won't be same. So in that case, in that situation, the details may vary according to the spiritual master. Here is indicating Siksha Guru, instructing spiritual master. Actually, many places where Prabhupada use this interchangeably, kind of like this, where many people get confused, where Prabhupada may say, okay, may hint at spiritual master, he may be saying Siksha Guru also, right? Because like we say, Prabhupada uses the term the spiritual master, but the spiritual master, it is Diksha Guru, and it can be Siksha Guru also.
Yeah.
So this should, unless we read, we get the proper understanding, we'll be confused, we'll get lost. So just
The
like
thing
it
is that
has happened for so
right below that is the principles are of bona fide spiritual master, taking Guru Ashraya, getting initiated. This is related to Diksha Guru. Yeah, this is.
Even in that verse, Prabhu, Chaitanya Charitamrita 24, Madhya, 24 chapter, I think 330 verse, I think. You know that verse? You only shared that last time about there can be many spiritual masters, one something like that in 24, 330. I've not read the full purport, but
24, 1 second. Let me
Madhya 24, 330.
Oh, these are Lord Chaitanya's instructions to Srila Sanatan Goswami. Oh, yeah, for Hari Bhakti Vilas. So,
Two hundred 30 verse, Prabhu.
yeah, this is the one.
Mhm. It's a long purport, no?
Yeah.
See, in this way, where Prabhupada says, because I first initially I knew this verse from the final order where it says, in this way the disciple renders devotional service under the guidance of the spiritual master or his representative for at least 6 months to a year. Here Prabhupada is mentioning the Diksha process, right? How we accept the Diksha Guru.
Yeah.
Through the temple president, through the various leaders, and then through Ridvigs and all. So this is how we get accepted. Oh, here is representative. So all this, it's a very important but I'm not gone through. I need to go through actually.
Okay. Yeah, I remember this purport. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else, Prabhus, on this topic? So this is the different manifestations of Srila Prabhupada. Books, deity form, directly perceived. Then his representatives.
His devotees,
Yeah, his representatives, his devotees.
his representatives, yes, his disciples,
Yeah,
books,
his Vani,
yeah,
photos, deity form, ISKCON.
ISKCON, yeah.
Just-
ISKCON is his body, like we say.
Yeah.
Extension of his body.
Okay, we are done here with the CC Adi first chapter, Guru Tattva verses. And next week, I wanted to take up the difference between Bhagavata Vidhi and Panchratrika Vidhi. This whole topic, what is Bhagavata, what is Panchratrika, and really go deeper into it in different places in the scriptures, and how we can then more clarity comes in how Srila, all the acharyas from our Goswami acharyas, and also Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, and the subsequent acharyas, they focused only on Bhagavata Vidhi, and from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati onwards, he started introducing the Pancharatrika Vidhi and the sadhana form and Diksha like that. So that's the first time in our parampara it happened. So because it has caused so much confusion, so let's go and really detail understand what is Pancharatrika from so many verses are there, which I have been trying to collect together to, 1 second, I'll give a preview of it. So we will take up these verses, CC Madhya 24, 329 to 331, because Hari Bhakti Vilas is kind of, because Srila Prabhupada says it was trying to keep pace with the Smartas in India at the time, and so it is very heavy on Pancharatrika Vidhi, but we will go through those purports too. That's why Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami very rarely quotes from those passages, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from his lotus mount himself is telling to Srila Sanatana Goswami, his own guru. But he doesn't do a lot of, only a few essential places he takes out and puts it in the Adi Leela first chapter, those Guru Tattva verses, only the Bhagavata Vidya essentials. But he leaves out the Pancharatrika Vidhi portions, Srila Krishna's Kaviraj. So we'll study but those instructions to Srila Sanatana Goswami and understand why he gave those instructions in Paribhakti Vilas, and which is in ISKCON they've made like a huge thing that this is it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying this thing and Gaudiya Math is following that like anything, because Srila Bhakti Saraswati took up for some reason, and that we will also go through. So 24, 329, 330, 331. And then the Madhya Leela chapter 15, 108 is very important, extremely important in the real Diksha, Bhagavata Vidhi Diksha, and then some Panchratrika. We will see why Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati actually introduced that to help the Bhagavata Vidhi process. And it doesn't become, Bhagavata Vidhi doesn't become subservient, but Panchratrika Vidhi remains subservient. And then we will hear from Srila Prahlad Maharaj's whole description of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam. See, this is here in Archanam, and so this is the Bhagavata Vidhi, the Bhakti Yoga, how it should be practiced. The 7th canto, 5th chapter, 23rd and 24th verses. We are going to take this up now with the Bhakti. And how Srila Prabhupada in many places, right, this portion of these verses, these 4 are Bhagavata Vidhi, and from here Panchatrika Vidhi starts, but he says even here we should include the Shravanam and Kirtanam to make it in the Bhagavata Vidhi. So it's very interesting to see that distinction and how they are getting merged and really together as a combo, working together. Why Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati did that under the 15:108 Madhya Leela 108 Srila Jiva Goswami's instructions, and the Bhagavata Vidhi initiation in 1 to 16 to 18, and Panchali itself we will take up. Samskaras we will take up. So it's a little larger topic. It'll go on for a few weeks, but I think it is essential because of the confusion created. Otherwise, 134, Adi Leela 134 to 58 is sufficient to understand the Guru Tattva. But because the confusion created, we have to go to all these things to distinguish between, to differentiate and really see the perspectives, relative perspectives of Bhagavata Vidhi, initiation, and Panchratrika Vidhi. Okay. So anyone has any concluding words? Anybody would like to finish? I know you're late. I had a court appearance at 10 a.m. New York time, and it was going to finish at 11 here, so I got caught up in that. So I'm sorry. Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone. Hari Bolo.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. Thank you.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.